Futures slightly positive as the Fed begins its two-day FOMC meeting. On the tape today will be consumer confidence and a double dose of housing data. All eyes will be on Apple's earnings after the close as the market struggles to regain some positive footing. I'm Brittany Umar, and the morning call starts right now.
Good morning, I'm Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com.
And I'm Brittany Umar with The Street, and together we bring you the Morning Call Express. So of course, markets did close negative yesterday on news out of Europe. We did bounce off the lows of the day. So first, Scott, what did you think of the technical action yesterday?
I thought yesterday you had to watch the reactionary low from April 10th. That was the low of this correction. That was a low that traders used as a point of reference, and that was the low that actually held early morning before we started to grind back towards the highs of the day. If you look at the chart of the S&P, there are two patterns that are presenting themselves right now. First, you take a look at the trends. Here is that macro trend that did hold right here into that April 10th reactionary low. But then you also had, again, the momentum intermediate trend that did break. So the question is, from that reactionary low, we had a bit of an ascending channel that did get breached to the downside yesterday. But if you take a close look here real quick, because that's what I like to do, is take a close look as a trader. Here was that level we talked about, 1357. Yesterday, we went as low as 1358. So some guys are saying it's a short-term double bottom, but I don't think that that's going to wind up holding. But I would say if the bears have control, if you did cover your shorts yesterday, like I covered a majority of them, you can re-short this area, which is around 1375 to 1377. If this market's going to remain weak, that's probably where sellers come in. And then you have this head and shoulders type of formation that people are talking about with the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. And then if we breach this 1357, you will see a beeline move down to at least around 1320 to 1340, and that'll be the next area of importance. So that's what I see developing right here.
So how much longer can the downside continue?
Well, at this point, I think some of it's already in the bag, and now the question is how much more. And right there, I'm going to be watching 1357. I'm going to watch the earnings out of Apple. I'm going to take a look closer at the high beta names that started to roll over as we've seen this rally, or not rally, this correction, go a little bit further.
So some of those high beta names have been under pressure lately. Can they lead us higher, or will they lead us lower?
I think we're going to see Apple today. Apple has been a sell ever since it broke that 620 area. If you look quickly at Apple, you will see that this is when we started talking about it from the short side, when it started showing relative weakness to the overall markets. You had a move lower with the snapback to test this trend line here, and then yesterday it held the 50-day. So at this particular point, they did take a 10% out of the stock, so I don't think the report's going to have to be so robust. I will have a closer look depending on where we are around 3:30 on what type of strategy to have going into it, so people are going to have to tune into my radio for more in-depth coverage.
And just touching a little bit further on high beta names, Netflix, of course, reported Monday night despite hitting estimates, shares tanked on growth worries. So what's next for the stock today?
This just shows you how you have to trade the range of these stocks. If you guys recall, if you've been a subscriber to T3 Live, you know that in early January, this was a focus. It triggered above 76, 77 with volume. The float was very short, and we had a big move. So if you look here at Netflix real quickly, this is when we start to get really enamored with the trade right around 75, 76. And then if you look here, that's that red dog reversal, which we also had off the charts that put it back to the downside. So the question is, what do we do here? I will be looking for some type of viable strategy coming into this 85 area. So I do think that I would not be shorting this opening Netflix, but I will look for a viable strategy for a cash flow for potentially could be a little reflex to close a portion of this downside gap.
And financials, of course, showed us a little bit of strength yesterday. You actually picked up some JP Morgan. What's your strategy with the stock today?
This one, I was just looking for a bounce. It diverged from the futures. JP Morgan has been battered and bruised, with everything else during this correction. So yesterday I started buying it around 42. I think it's a sale around 43.10 to 43.30. I was just going with that for a cute cash flow trade, and that's the way to navigate during a corrective phase, is take cute trades, take cash flow, and line yourself up for a bigger move. But I don't think you should be lined up yet building in those swing positions.
And just really quickly, metals, of course, have been in an intermediate correction. Could that change depending on the Fed comments?
Well, I think two announcements ago, that's what put us into this intermediate downtrend. If you take a quick look at the chart of gold, you will see that right here, you do have this intermediate downtrend. So until it breaks this line, until we can get a close above 162, I think it's caught here. We'll have more clarity tomorrow after the news.
All right, we're going to dive into all this and more in the long version, so stay with us.
Hi, I'm Sean Hendelman, CEO of T3 Live, where we train, coach, and mentor traders in order to help you put your money to work with confidence. The T3 Live approach is a blueprint for you to recognize, adapt, and ultimately take advantage of different market conditions. To begin your training with T3 Live, we would like to offer you the opportunity to enroll in our free 30-day online home study course. Fill in your name and email address, and I'll see you on the other side.